Welcome to the Straight Talk on Fleet podcast with Erin Gilchrist. Each week, Erin will be breaking down fleet management, trying to cut through the noise and get down to the real issues safety and operations leaders are struggling with every day. The goal will be to get to the bottom of how leaders can break down these silos of information and accelerate change management, how to use real-time, accurate data to drive massive efficiencies across fleet-focused business processes, and to elevate people's careers with emerging best practices. Now it's time for the Straight Talk on Fleet.
Okay, hello again, Fleet community. I'm super excited. We're back again for another episode. I think we're episode 51, which is crazy, of the Straight Talk on Fleet. We do this because, we want to bring a community of people like us together, share challenges, work through solutions. And why do I get to do this? I was a fleet director for many, many years of a very large fleet. And I'm passionate about safety and sustainability and efficiency. So on that note, I'm pumped to welcome Erin Blair this morning. Welcome, Erin. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Erin is the VP of Global Partnerships at Wise Systems. So who is Wise? Wise, one, is a partner to IntelliShift, which is great. They are an autonomous dispatching and routing solution, and they empower fleet and operations teams and safety teams to improve efficiency, customer service, and seamlessly adapt to the everyday challenges that we encounter in our fleet. So, Erin, I didn't do you justice. Introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about what you do at Wise and what gets you excited about coming to work every day.
Sure, thanks. Thanks for having me again. I'm excited to be here. I deal with technology partnerships. I deal with some end user opportunities as well, but I usually am working on either OMS, ERP, or ELD systems and getting systems integrated, solutioning for customers and finding solutions that will help fleet managers, help operations move forward. So I work around the world, which is nice. So I get a taste of everything from Europe to the Americas to Japan and Australia about what technology is working, how people are utilizing it, and how it works. What gets me up every day? I grew up in a small trucking town. All my friends drive trucks or own fleets in different verticals. And the one thing I've been gifted with is the ability to see technology, how it actually affects end users. I've been in the field myself, as you have been for a while, and what gets me up is seeing how can you make the person behind the wheel or at a desk, at a dispatch center with a screen, how do you help them do their job more efficiently for them? Because ultimately it's really about the people, and that's what gets me up every day. And I really enjoy merging technologies. We'll talk a little bit about that today, and how that really helps everybody, because technology can be a very scary thing for people that work in any industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I share your passion for people, for safety, certainly for efficiency and how it affects the environment. And I think we as fleet leaders have such a great opportunity to, even though we are emitting GHG into the environment, we have such an impact. We can make such an impact on people and on the environment and what we do. And I get excited about this topic of route optimization. That sounds funny, but I really do. Because when it's done well, it offers such a wide range of benefits for fleet leaders, and operations leaders and organizations, not just reducing costs, but I really feel like there's a hit list of things that come to mind when I think about route optimization. I know we'll dig into these today, but certainly we know cost reduction is huge, fuel efficiency, driver productivity, extended vehicle lives, right? But I really, and I think compliance too it plays a big role in compliance, and certainly our customer satisfaction. We can get to our customers on time every time. We talked a little bit about that sustainability, but I think what people miss is the opportunity to really integrate route optimization with your safety program. I think when I think safety and route op, I think, route optimization can help consider factors like traffic conditions, road closures, weather, high incident or high accident frequency zones that we can try to avoid to protect our drivers. So just to name a few, those are the things that get me going. But for our audience today, we're going to dig into, last mile delivery challenges, optimizing delivery routes. We're going to talk about schedules in real time, and just the way that those things kind of affect what we do as organizations, but primarily for those of us who are in charge of the fleet, the dispatch office, safety and risk, et cetera. So we're all affected by the success or lack thereof of our routing program. So let's start by just digging in here. Erin, talk about this growing demand for fast and efficient deliveries. Everybody wants everything now, right?
Yeah, no, it is. E-commerce has changed everything, right? And the ability to move stuff quickly, and people want that Amazon effect of when I put it in today, I get it tomorrow. That creates a massive congestion in our supply chain, as we all know. There is an added need for gig workers now, and we have a lot of turnover in the space from workers. And really, some of the challenges are around, can I get the right technology that regardless of the driver, the vehicle, and the environment, I'm successful as a fleet manager? And then defining that success is different for everybody. We're all doing the same things in different ways. Every fleet manager has a different way to manage. Their business has a different value proposition. Having a very dynamic routing and dispatch platform is the key to be able to find out what your success is and helping meet that. One of the biggest challenges too is not managing the rules, but managing the exceptions. When I'm looking at 50 or 60 vehicles, how do I know which ones I need to manage like right now? And so, we allow kind of a green, red, yellow, idea of being or visual to be able to manage those vehicles in real time, or those customers, when customers are calling in and customer support is saying, where's my delivery? Where's my delivery? Going to the operations people saying, where is it? They probably are proactive enough with a system like ours to tell them in advance that it's where it is. And having real-time communications, we have a customer portal where we have real-time communications with the customers, and it's all configurable to meet those needs of the customer shouldn't be calling, they should be getting regular updates of where everything is. So we take IntelliShift data, we pull that in to say, where is the vehicle at this point in time? How far away is it for its delivery? And then we bring in the traffic conditions to help navigate them in real time through those hard areas. And once again, let's mitigate risk. Are we going to send someone through a school zone at a school zone time when it's open? Or are we going to say, let's take another minute, let's drive them around an area, mitigate that type of risk? So I think a lot of today's challenges are managing the exceptions in real time, not the rules, getting dispatchers and people. If I'm managing people, we want them focusing on what can have an immediate impact today, not just the day-to-day. Hey, I now have to reroute everything and manually moving stuff around. We want some automation there. This is where technology really can be scary for people, but can really help them open up hours in their days to be more effective in managing. When Johnny or Christy comes back from their route, you're going to be able to say in real time, why did it take you another half an hour today at these stops? And have those real conversations about managing people and those exceptions, not everybody had a great day today, or I don't even know where to start, right? That's a dispatch. I don't even know where to start. I just can't wait to get to tomorrow because I don't want to deal with today. And we help people kind of see that. So
I love that red, yellow, green concept because it gives you that, what do I need to focus on right now? And I think about, like, as a fleet leader, waking up in the morning, opening up whatever device I'm going to be operating on that day, if I'm on the road or whatever I'm doing, and being able just to identify those hot spots, those risks. And so for us, it's like, who's off route, who's, not done their inspection, who has a critical issue with their vehicle and they're out driving it. Can we bring them back in? So all these things being visible, as quick insights versus I have to look at all my vehicles. Let me just focus on the very few, likely those exceptions that I need to address today. So I think that's why having a platform where all of the data is brought together in one place and you can sort of have visualizations of your challenges and risks every day is a game changer, not only from a time perspective, but from a risk perspective. Let me address this quickly. I can get to that operations leader who is in charge of that driver. They can handle that situation and I can move on to the probably 400 other things that I'm responsible for today. So
yeah, it's a great point.
Efficiency is critical.
Yeah, becoming proactive instead of reactive. That's a big change. And that's what technology allows people to do. Now, if you have a system that's overwhelming and you have to go to multiple places to find data, then you really can't. Now you're becoming even more reactive because you have to go and find all this information. With the control tower idea that IntelliShift is presenting to their customers, Everything's in one spot. So cloud-based, right? So if I'm an operations manager, I'm on an iPad, I can open it up, I can see everything that's happening. I can be proactive and tell this dispatcher in this location, hey, call this customer and tell them we're half an hour away, and that may be 3 hours from now that we're going to be late, but we already know it and we want you to be aware of it. You mitigate all kinds of risk, and happy customers ultimately make everything easier to deal with because the driver has a better experience when they're on site. The operations manager, the salespeople, everybody has. If you're proactive in some of these opportunities, we give the data to have that. You can actually give our dashboard to your customer success folks. They can see it on their own where things going. They can't move anything, but they can see where everything is. So they can be proactive in saying, sorry, Sarah, we're about an hour and a half away. We're supposed to be there in 2 hours or an hour, we're going to be an hour and a half. We apologize for these reasons, or maybe there's no reason, just saying, here's when your delivery is coming because you didn't look at your customer portal or whatever it is. So I think being proactive, using technology to be proactive is a real trend that people should embrace. It'll make their days easier, I believe.
Well, and I think this communication piece is underscored. So for me, like as a customer, if I know someone's coming, and even if they're going to be late, if they're communicating with me, I'm happy, right?
That's right.
Not knowing is when temperatures rise is when I don't know anything. And, I think about this opportunity for this in the world, we call it this Uber-like experience where sometimes, a customer could even get a text message where they can watch the vehicle come to their house at some point in the delivery process, right? So there's fleets out there doing really cool things, but they're not doing it without the type of technology that both of our companies are providing. So on that note, when I think about our integration, talk about some of the ways that the WISE and IntelliShift data helps in this whole scenario. Real-time adjustments to delivery routes, improve fuel efficiency. Talk about how this collaboration helps, some of those highlights.
Sure. Yeah, we take the data from the IntelliShift devices, the GPS data, and we utilize that to do our pre-planning and routing. So historical data we'll take into what's happened historically. We'll take that information in real time too to help with turn-by-turn directions. So a driver can have a mobile app that can have an SDK loaded onto it that can help them navigate the waters of either, in real time, I'm finding heavy traffic or I'm finding a better route, turn-by-turn directions. Let's give them real truck routes, not, your normal run-of-the-mill Google routes, I'd call them, or another, you don't want to use a consumer or a public application for a commercial, workload. So using those,
right, because there's roads they're not allowed to operate on. Correct.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah. And once again, by using the right technology, we're mitigating risk. So we want to make sure that we're using the right technology. So combine the two technologies for real time. WISE also has a machine learning capability to it, where we actually see what's happening in that day, that week, and we're saying, oh, well, the dispatcher keeps making adjustments every morning. Oh, it looks like it's staying within the guardrails of what we find is acceptable as a company. So we're going to allow that to become the rule now, not what the computer thinks, but what the dispatcher thinks. Same thing with
that's
driver
fantastic.
preferences. So driver preferences too. Why does the driver keep going down this road? Well, there's a strategic reason for it. They do it every time. They're within the time window and the miles that we want to have. So we're good with that. What we're going to do is we're going to create the most efficient routes by miles and hours and a lot of other constraints that the company wants. A lot of it really comes down to how drivers are compensated. So that's evolving in this industry too. So drivers aren't necessarily by the hour anymore. And if they are, we want to try to mitigate overtime if we can, and how much we're willing to give there as a business. But we also want to be conscientious of the fact that how much a driver can deliver in their 8 to 10, 12 hours a day that they're allowed to run, we want to make sure we maximize that. So imagine reducing miles and reducing hours actually opens up capacity. So for drivers that are now compensated based on volume, it's very important to open up that capacity, use the data from IntelliShift that's giving us real time, because there's different ways to track now, and using a mobile app for tracking is good for certain use cases, but really for routing a vehicle, that's something we want to get from the vehicle's device. We want that vehicle hardened device to be managing the vehicle. The mobile
Absolutely.
app can manage steps and manage the people, but we want to be able to use different, which we use both technologies to ingest for our GPS. But sometimes it is reducing, and a lot of times I have to say, reducing the number of vehicles on the road for a company. quite often we actually say, you have 10 vehicles in this part of this metro area for this volume. Well, on Thursdays, you really need 9. So we're going to take one vehicle, allow it to go to maintenance, put 2 drivers in the truck, because we sometimes want to make sure we keep all our drivers around. So there's options to have there. But imagine if once or twice a week, I take one vehicle off the road. We recently did a simulation with a company where it's about $400 a day. Well, we did that 3 or 4 times a week. We've now opened up another, we've been able to say, here's your maintenance schedule now in safety. Let's push that vehicle at a scheduled day, or we've opened up capacity for another vehicle, depending on how you want to see it as an organization. I now have a whole vehicle open, or I'm going to take that vehicle and do my maintenance on it on those scheduled days. Now I have harmony in my company. I'm not reactive to something has to be moved today. I'm like, oh my God, my hair's on fire. Where am I getting that vehicle is up for inspection. It has to go on. I'm now strategic about how I'm maintaining my entire fleet based on my routing, based on how I can consolidate, and work. So yeah, I think there's going to be a reduction in miles, reduction in hours is always top of mind for everybody. But I would say that I think we're trending towards open up capacity is probably the new terminology, which is where can I find new capacity? Go back to my sales team and say, hey, I just opened
Sell
up
more.
4 more pallets on this route at this day. Go find someone who can use that space.
Yeah, it's so neat. I love to think about all the opportunities that this type of technology provides. And one thing that stands out to me that I don't think we talk about enough is driver retention. We talk about in our industry, we know that finding drivers is tough. And I recently in our customer advisory board meeting, we asked our advisory board members to talk about their top challenges, and every single one of them, finding good talent was one of their top challenges. So, I think that with technology like this, when you can have a more prescribed day where a driver feels like, okay, I know what I'm getting into today. I feel like I'm going to make it to all my customers, and maybe I'll get an extra one because there's a level of efficiency here that I haven't experienced before. I'm making money. I'm getting from A to B and ultimately through the course of my day safely and back home safe. When they're going to stay, right? And then you have a compelling recruiting tool. For me, I always think that with, technology like telematics and cameras and routing efficiencies, it's scary to drivers, but when done well, the driver understands what's in it for them. And they not only want to come back to work for a company who has it together and gets them home safe, but they bring friends. So I think this idea of using your technology as a recruiting tool is more and more important. And I think it drives retention and it attracts new talent, in my opinion. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but
I
seems logical.
So it's had so over the last, call it 10 years, people have tried to force mobile applications on drivers to do different things, right? I'm going to punch in and punch out. You start your day, you end your day, which we have those capabilities. If it's a business rule that they want to do, that's fine. One of the things that I found, and I would agree with you with drivers, drivers want to drive. And you know what drivers also want to do? They want to show up at a loading dock and smile at the person that's there because they're going to see them for a few minutes. They see them every day, every other day. There's a relationship there. The last thing you want to do is have a driver show up and have someone go, where have you been? That conversation goes nowhere but sideways. And so why even put the driver in that situation if you have a good customer
or your organizational
tool?
Reputation? I mean,
that's correct. And so basically by having a good customer portal and using that correctly so the customer is updated where the load is, you've now made a loading dock conversation happier. And that is going to be part of driver retention. Now, also, I would say that giving them a mobile app or having one on there that they can easily use. If you have I need to take a photo of a bill of lading or something like that, make that easy. Auto arrive and auto depart. By our technologies being together, we actually auto arrive and auto depart at the locations so we can best enable the customer alerts for the next ones and how we're doing today. And the dispatcher gets alerts without the driver doing a thing. All the drivers.
That's so critical to the success and retention of your driver relationships. I think probably on every podcast I've talked about if we can make all these auxiliary things that are mission critical to our organizations easy for the driver, what can they do? They can focus on driving when they're driving. And what does that do? That increases your safety profile, reduces accidents, reduces risks, So I think, this is in part just a piece of this puzzle, using tech so that drivers can easily do their job and then focus on driving while they're driving. Because that's really all we want them doing when they're behind the wheel, is just driving, right?
That's right. That's right. I couldn't agree with you more. And that's why sometimes these are complicated decisions to put together, because I just mentioned multiple parts of an organization getting together to create a solution. And I don't think that the fleet manager or the operations person is solely responsible for the tech stack for optimization. It's the entire organization, because at the end of the day, the heartbeat of my deliveries is my drivers, is my customers. So what really needs to happen is the organization comes together holistically to say, all right, how do we best create the technology that's going to support our use case with our customers, with what we're doing, because it's all different. We go on these days because of these reasons and this. Well, we want to have customers alerts for these, but not for these folks. That's totally cool. We adjust that and configure the tech stack appropriately. Using cameras to be proactive the way that IntelliShift does, taking that in, making it usable so that people are now more proactive in there and they can deal with the problems and the issues that come up during the day in a swift manner. Give them the tools to be able to mitigate that risk quickly and move to the next one.
Yeah, it really comes down to that change. Driver. Yeah, it comes down to change management too. I think, I've talked, I think I do a whole episode on change management about the mistakes I made. And then once I figured it out, but it was really all about breaking down silos in the organization so that people from the people, HR, you've got, payroll and IT and legal and fleet and operations and purchasing, getting together as a community and saying, okay, what do we need to accomplish? And then how do we, procure the solutions that work, and having all those experts chime in. So it's not all on the fleet manager. I mean, yes, we do wear a lot of hats and we do have to understand our organizations, and we are critical assets in the organization to drive profit, not just suck cost. And I think that organizations that look at their fleets as a cost center are just completely, head in the sand, because we can be profit generators. We can be, profit centers when we think about collaborating with all those departments, like you said, getting our act together, our group together on our overall goals, and then using that technology, that data together, not in silos, to solve, all the problems that organizations face, especially in this environment of everybody wanting everything right now or yesterday, right?
Yeah. Very true. No, very true. I couldn't agree with you more. I think a lot of it comes down to, like you said, is change management. And here's the thing, right? I can't balk at any of it. It says we're profitable now, we're doing well, yet we want to institute some technology to help because we know we need it. Sometimes people don't know what they need until you've done it, until you're in it, and they start to experience it. So I think having an entire look and having the purchasing department, the operations and finance all together to identify those work streams, the way data is going to flow for everybody, and having a holistic approach to making, because routing and dispatching planning, don't forget planning, because I'm going to do my quarterly or seasonally planning. That is important to have everybody's voice at the table as well. We have tools that enable everybody to be able to have that and make adjustments based on what's happening. We also have machine learning tools and AI that's going to help with some of those things. But really having everybody involved, it also allows everybody, when an issue comes up, everybody has a consolidated response to it. We're being proactive in our response, not reactive to, we have all these problems, we're putting out fires, but turn our organization using the right technology to a proactive organization and not reactive.
And finding data and information in one place. And we've talked about this, but I'd love, to round out a little bit, we've talked a little bit about, just this one view, and you touched on control tower, right? But round that out so that, our listeners can understand how the IntelliShift and WISE experience sort of comes together in one place.
Sure. Yeah, no, good question. So as we see a dispatcher right now, I can see all of my cameras through IntelliShift, and I can see all of my GPS and my vehicles moving around a metro area. I can see all of that. But that information is only as good as I know what order it's related to and what the delivery sequence is. So what we've done with, and I think this is one of the first times this has happened for kind of the best of breed technologies coming together, is we've created this experience with our UI for all the orders and the sequencing and the deliveries is embedded in the UI of IntelliShift. So the same experience that a customer has today, they click one of the icons that's on the screen, and all of a sudden all their orders show up related to their GPS tracking, and they see everything in real time in one spot. I'm not going to different tabs. I'm not seeing what's going on. I'm not trying to open up another web browser to go align things, and the order numbers are off, so I don't really know if that's John's truck or it's Joey's truck or what it is. You get to see everything. Now I can make real-time adjustments. I get to see my red, green, yellow. I can then go and say, all right, well, I want to say, why is that yellow? Let's go look at the camera. Let's go over here and look at the camera and see what's happening right now in real time. Now I'm actually in real time managing my vehicles and my drivers along with the order sequences that they have to do for that day and what their workload looks like. Well, are they far behind, or they only have 2 stops left, so I'm good with yellow. I don't have to worry about that right now. You can, with ease, make that decision in seconds, or just in real time. You're controlling where you're spending your time, and I think that's so important today. Then we also have a BI tool, an analytical tool inside of our UI. So at the end of the day, all that data in real time goes into plan versus actual. Plan versus actual is a big deal. So during the day with IntelliShift, we're doing this wonderful mitigating of risk and moving turn-by-turn directions, using real-time traffic, using real-time GPS to do that. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go, well, I plan to do 15,000 miles today with 50 trucks. I did 17,000 miles today. Why is that? And you can look in the analytical tool in the real time and see, wow, it was only these 4 or 5 trucks that went way off for some reason. So when all those trucks come back at the end of the day, I now get to talk to these 3 drivers about what happened and why. And then we're going to see whether we want to make changes to their routes for the next time. On that Tuesday they do that. Do we want to change the sequences? Do we want to make adjustments in Y systems? I'm in the same control tower, I'm in the same area for future. I'm going to dial it in a little bit because I found that we just overloaded those vehicles for that day and it was just too much. So now I've been proactive, looking at data in real time for next Thursday at this time. I want to turn those dials a little bit so that I don't have this overage in miles. Now, imagine if I've actually reduced my miles and I'd be using a control tower to become a profit center, like you had alluded to earlier.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, for me, it's like a dream scenario. When I was running a very large fleet, it's just a lot of disconnects. And, I love being able to talk about the technology and bringing all these things together. And I think the thing that kept me up at night was, what don't I know? What can't I see? But these scenarios that we're creating today with technology are helping fleet managers to rest a lot easier. And on that note, one exciting thing we have coming up, I'm not sure, some of our joint customers may be there, may not. We have customers like Bimbo, Driscoll, Liberty Coke, who are using both of our technologies to improve their operations. And we have an upcoming event together at IFTA. We're going to be at IFTA. And for those of you who are attending the IFTA conference in Kansas City this year, we as a team, IntelliShift and Y Systems, are going to do a scavenger hunt. It's super simple, right? You get your map, you get your card, you go to the Y Systems booth and talk to someone at Y Systems about the integration, and you'll get a stamp on your we'll call it a passport on your scavenger hunt card. You'll come to the IntelliShift booth that tells you sort of how to get to our booth from their booth and talk to us. And yeah, we'll be giving out some prizes. So we're hoping that that those of you who are attending IFTA will do this scavenger hunt, join us, and figure out how this joint venture here could help you and your fleet. So we're looking forward to seeing any of you that are coming by the IFTA booth or the IFTA conference to get stamps from both of our booths and get a prize. Again, I think we're giving out a $15 gift card for anybody who comes to both.
We're excited about IFTA. We like the food and beverage world a lot. We're really built for that. We understand the complications of the fact that when a truck gets loaded, you can't move it around during the day. What we can do is help the driver have a better experience navigating the waters that as they get out there. And we're excited to share that combined solution and how it would benefit people at IFTA. Always a great conference for us. We'd love to see all the people there. And if anybody wants to have a joint meeting between both organizations, we're more than happy to take some time with customers and have a joint meeting about the solution that they would like to see. come and tell us what you want to build.
Absolutely. We'll have great teammates from both orgs there. So yeah, we'd love to sit down. That would be ideal. So before we wrap today, Erin, I've loved talking to you. I love all your insights, and I love how excited and passionate you are about just the benefits of these types of technologies and technology in general. We share that passion. Take a couple minutes just to wrap us here and talk about your perspective on the future of fleet management. I love that question. It's something I think about every day.
Yeah, I think it's going to be consolidation of different roles, right? And what's going to happen is people are now that are fleet managers the technology will allow them to evolve into being probably more of a holistic manager of a business unit, right? Because if I can really help with the day-to-day stuff and make the day-to-day stuff that people don't like to do, if I can automate that, if I can make those things that people don't enjoy doing and give them more things they enjoy doing, maybe they really enjoy being more with the people and off of the computer situations, I can give them help the organization grow. I may be able to say, hey, now that I have 5 or 6 different locations and someone's going on vacation, I can have Johnny look out for Jack's stuff while he's gone because it's all cloud-based, it's all easy to manage, it's all in the same system, and now I'm not worried about filling roles. So I think really this, more automation, I think of the daily activities allows the individuals to grow into new roles. And I see it happening all around in every vertical, actually. People wanting to automate the day-to-day activities that people really don't like doing anyways and allow their roles to grow into something that's specific for that organization needs, and help those folks grow into a new role. I see that happening. More ML and AI, which helps with some of that. I see that as well as a big people actually understanding how machine learning works in logistics or supply chain. Because right now it's a buzzword, right? I hate using it as a buzzword, but I'm like, imagine if I could learn that every day you have service times of 30 minutes to every location. But I find out that one of your locations is 15 minutes consistently for 3 or 4 weeks. Wouldn't you like me to do that across the board and open up more capacity and make it so that we're using that technology to help us, instead of a fleet manager having to look at data and saying, oh, wow, we really only go there 15 minutes every day, half an hour, let's change that service time manually. Let's automate all of those things and allow the fleet managers and the operations people to have better discussions about what they can grow into as a company and have more proactive conversations. I think
more strategic conversations.
That's correct. Instead of having the what house is on fire today, we want to back away from those type of. Now you're going to have them, right? Because that's why we're in business. So let's also not forget the reason we're in business, because we're good at putting out fires. But at the same time, imagine we reduce the amount of fires, and we can have strategic conversations about the growth of the business. Maybe acquisition is something, going to a new territory, taking over a new area, expanding brands, opening up capacity holistically is good for all conversations in the warehouse, outside of the warehouse. And we believe that the technology we have now in the automation will lead to more of those conversations.
Yeah, and really, I think break down the silos in the organization and helping that vertical and horizontal growth for people. And as a fleet leader, I felt like I was involved in so many things happening in the organization, but think about how the technology allows for, again, you said it perfectly, less firefighting and more strategic thinking. So I love that POV, Erin. I share it. We share a great name too, by the way. And we spell it the same way, which is awesome too. I've loved our conversation. I look forward to seeing the team at IFTA. So listeners out there, thank you for joining us. If you've enjoyed our conversation today, our content, want to learn more, I'll certainly provide how to get a hold of both Erin and I. Like and subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite or watch your favorite content. And as we always say on the Straight Talk on Fleet, until next time, keep it real, keep it safe for fleet's sake. So thanks so much, Erin, for joining us, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
Of course, you too.